what Ryan Clark had to say about Jordan Love in the NFL world. This blew me away.
Even with Jordan Love throwing an inopportune, inexplicable interception to end the game, I was sitting there watching them going, man, the NFL world should be excited that Jordan Love doesn't play for the San Francisco 49ers. And we are starting, at least in my opinion, to get into the realm the San Francisco 49ers used to be with Jimmy Garoppolo. Where it was, with Kyle Shanahan calling plays, we could be really good. With the players around him, we could be really good. But can our quarterback take us to the next level? And now that it's getting down to the critical football moments, to the moments that turn good players into legends, that turn good teams into teams we never forget, you're starting to see. You don't take Brock Purdy over Jared Goff right now, and you for sure don't take Brock Purdy over the two dudes on the other side in the AFC. So if you're the San Francisco 49ers, you're thinking to yourself right now, this team that we were starting to run through our quarterback better run through Uncle Shannon's nephew, Christian McCaffrey. Because if it doesn't, they're going to find themselves at home again without a ring.
I can't argue with the Christian McCaffrey part of that. The rest of it, we can, dice it up and talk about quarterbacks and things like that. But, like, the Christian McCaffrey thing is, I don't think anyone would deny that. They need Christian McCaffrey if they want to win a Super Bowl.
He said the NFL world should be lucky and happy that Shanahan doesn't have Jordan Love.
Meaning, like, that Jordan Love would take this offense to an even greater greats?
Yeah.
I mean, Purdy was pretty spectacular.
Purdy was really good
He's about
this
as
year.
efficient as you could possibly be.
Really good. Now, I know a lot of people are iffy on Ryan Clark. He says a lot of things. But I just think it's, maybe he has too much airtime.
Okay.
But he says a lot of things that I like. And look, Jordan Love has a lot to learn. I just said that last week, the potential of Jordan Love compared to the potential of Brock Purdy, I'm not sure if we see Brock Purdy hit a ceiling yet. Where can he improve it, right? Where can Jordan Love improve it? It just looks like Love has a lot more room to improve at the quarterback spot than Brock Purdy. That's not a diss to Brock Purdy at all. Brock Purdy was spectacular this year. Jordan Love also, and which is impressive for the Niners defense to slow him down in the fourth quarter. Jordan Love in the last 8 weeks of the season threw 23 touchdown passes, 1 interception. That's pretty damn impressive, right? So I understand what Ryan Clark is saying there. Now, this next cut is going to trigger some people. Before we get to the calls, here's Ryan Clark saying that one of the hardest things he had to do was defend a certain quarterback. Listen to this.
I'm about to make a confession. The single hardest thing I had to do this year was act like Brock Purdy deserved to be in the conversations with the other people we're mentioning in that tweet. Because he was playing extremely well and operating in that offense and distributing the ball to Kittle and Deebo Samuel and Brandon Ayuk, we had to continue to include him in conversations with the Lamar Jacksons. We had to continue to include him in conversations with the Josh Allen. Those things are not alike. Brock Purdy is a fine player. Brock Purdy can operate in Kyle Shanahan's offense at an extremely efficient level. Brock Purdy doesn't raise the level of play of anyone around him. And so when you talk about Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, the people around them benefit from having those sorts of players at the quarterback position. Brock Purdy benefits from having the sort of players he has at the skill positions around him.
Well, Peyton Manning benefited from having Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wade, Brandon Stokely, Joseph Adai, Andrew James, Dominic Rhodes, Dallas Clark. Kurt Warner benefited from having Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Az Hakim, Marshall Faulk. All quarterbacks benefit from having Joe Montana. They were playing, everybody's playing, had the video out on Twitter with Super Bowl 23, the final drive. Joe Montana benefits from having Jerry Rice and Roger Craig, who should be in the Hall of Fame. Roger Craig, that is. So they all benefit of having talent.
John Frank, who was really underrated.
Right. Number 86, tight end.
Just history has forgotten he was a solid player.
Right.
Tom Rathman was amazing. I think go back and look at Tom Rathman's numbers,
right.
By the way, Niner fans. And Juszczyk's a great player.
Right.
Just they were utilized completely different. Right. You'd be shocked at how much Rathman touched the ball.
Right, no doubt.
You'd be
no
shocked.
Doubt.
So that team was really good.
So I disagree with Ryan there. All these quarterbacks benefit from having great talent around them. No doubt about it. They all benefit from it. But for him to say, I had to lie and evolve. No, you didn't. You choose what you say. You didn't have to lie about it. We certainly did lie about it. When I said that Purdy was playing better than Mahomes 5 weeks into the season, I wasn't lying. I wasn't just doing it for clickbait. My eyes told me that Purdy's playing better quarterback than Patrick Mahomes, and he did throughout most of the regular season. Brock Purdy was a top 5 quarterback this year.
No doubt.
And he's not 5 and he's not 4. He's one of the top 3. That's what he was. And that's why when we see a performance like we did on Saturday, we're like, what? Where did this come from?
So, well, this goes back to and I don't have the answer to this one, but this goes back to like the big game player stuff, the big game genes thing that Kurt Warner was talking to Baldy about and that Baldy brought up. And again, I'm not even sure if I subscribe to it all the way. Like everyone's saying like Josh Allen can't win the big one. Are we sure? He was carrying that team. Can Diggs make a play? Can his coach not, I don't know, take him off the field and hand the ball to DeMar Hamlin on a 4th down? Like, what are you doing? Right? So I struggle with this big game thing. Like, okay, was Steve Young a big game player?
He didn't have a lot of good big games.
That's what I'm saying.
Didn't have a lot of them.
But he did have a Super Bowl, and he did come up big in the NFC Championship game. And he put together unbelievable regular seasons. Alex Rodriguez, Barry Bonds. These are guys who had unreal baseball regular seasons. Come playoff time, they're just a different player.
Right.
Kershaw, right?
Yep.
Eli Manning's like the reverse. So I don't know, man. I really don't know because the season that I saw this year from Brock Purdy was outstanding. Outstanding. As efficient and as good as you could possibly be. But I also can't unsee that playoff game. And credit to him for coming back the way that he did, having the galls and the onions to be able to perform like he did and be calm and confident enough and mentally tough to be able to put this team into the NFC Championship.
And I need to back up a little bit because I've been on record for saying this. In the playoffs, it's not always going to be pretty.
Oh, it's going to be ugly.
Lines don't. I saw Peyton Manning walk into Baltimore and win a game 15-6 with 5 field goals. Nobody's apologizing for that. Nobody in Indianapolis is, right? He won a game 15-6. 15-6. 5 field goals. Peyton Manning, Reggie Wade, Marvin, all those guys. You just got to do what you got to do in the playoffs. And that's why as the week goes on and as we get farther away from that game on Saturday, I do look at Kyle Shanahan a little bit differently. Maybe Brock's struggles early on was a byproduct of Shanahan being so damn tight.
I think Debo being out too. Like there's a lot. And Green Bay, I don't think we've given enough credit to Green Bay. I thought Green Bay played a great game.
Yeah.
I don't think we've given enough credit to Green Bay.
Let's hear from Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell on the challenge of getting ready for the 49ers.
That's easy. It's the distractions. That's the easiest one. All right. Getting ready for these guys is not going to be hard. Knowing what we're getting ready to face, the type of team they are, we already know it's a hard-nosed team. These are, to me, we're 2 juggernauts that are just going to be swinging at each other. It's not that. It's all the other stuff. It's all the interview requests. It's all the, hey, you look at all the plays you made in this game. You are the best player on their team. What are you going to do this week? Don't you think you need the ball more? Don't you think you need more opportunities for sacks? Don't you think they need to blitz you more? Hey, will you come over here and let's do this GQ shoot? So it's all the distractions. And as long as we block those out and just stay on course, we'll be fine.
Kind of like Dan Campbell there. 97 won the ticket in Detroit, our sister station. Also, he said Jared Goff's in a great place right now.
He's exactly where you would want your leader, your captain, your team on offense to be at. And I would not anticipate anything different this week. And I love the fact that he's faced San Francisco numerous times in Shanahan. I know it's a different team. I know it's a different coordinator. I just think it's good. He's been to this stadium. He understands what it is.
It's Dan Campbell. It's hard not to like Dan Campbell.
This would be a huge win for Jared Goff. To take 2 different teams to the Super Bowl and to take the Detroit Lions. I mean, we laugh about the Warriors before Steph Curry,
right?
But part of what has elevated Steph Curry and LeBron with the Cavs, their careers, is like the team you inherit and the team that you take to the promised land. That does matter to me.
The franchise of the organization, right? The Warriors were decrepit for how many years? I mean, they were the Clippers. And people forget the Clippers were bad. They were right there with the Warriors. They're like, who's worse?
Exactly.
It was the Spider-Man meme, right?
Like, when Tom Brady won the championship with the Tampa Bay Bucks, it was like, wow, you took the Bucks?
The Bucks.
To the Super Bowl?
The Tampa Bay Yucks.
I mean, wow. I mean, that's for Goff to come into his hometown, to come into a team. I mean, we don't even have to go this far. I wanted the Niners to lose that final game.
And Jared Goff.
Yeah, so that we could get Jared Goff. They ended up not. The Rams ended up losing that game. They traded a bunch of picks to jump up in front of the Niners and take Jared Goff that year.
Philly took Wentz number 2 overall.
Yeah, I believe they traded up too as well, correct?
Yeah, they got Wentz.
Yeah, and so, but like, this is a full circle moment for this young man. It's hard for me to hate on Goff.
And Detroit hasn't been to a championship game. I mean, they haven't won a championship since 1957. They're playoff. They haven't been to the playoffs. Look at their playoff wins. They hadn't had a playoff win since 1991. So we'll get more and more into Detroit.